So I've been out for a week now. I've faced that my parents make me angry, frustrated. I've confronted the denial, the fantasy, the hope. I've now confronted the fear. I mean, my parents never made me be someone I didn't want to be. But they did teach me about a religion that so internalized these things that I made myself do it. And I have to live with that. I have to live with the knowledge that my internalized hatred of myself forced me to be someone I'm not. And I have to confront the fear of not coming out for 18 years because I didn't know that I needed to. I didn't even know I was different. I have to confront the fear of every time I do something that my parents would not let me do as a child. That there's nothing wrong with doing it. That I can be whatever I want, eat whatever I want, watch whatever I want, and I'm still a decent person. It doesn't matter what you do, as long as you do good things. And now I have to accept that what I thought would happen, happened, and that I don't want anything from any of these people. I really don't. The best thing they can do is just to leave me alone. And no child should ever have to think or say the realization that my life is just better off without my family in it. And sometimes worthless people have children. And when it comes to being a mom and a dad, they're just worthless. And just because they provide you a good place to live, good education, doesn't mean they're good parents. That's just what's required under the law. Good parents make kids feel emotionally and physically safe to pursue their interests and what they want to do with their life. If you can't talk to your parents about who you are, they're a failure as a parent. Because that's your job, to maintain open communication and create an environment where a child feels safe talking and living out who they really are. And I didn't get a family like that. And I have to accept that and move on. You can't make people be decent. You can't make people want to support you. You can't make people be decent. You can't. That's why you have to set boundaries. So everyone knows what you're comfortable with. Everyone knows that you want to be treated with respect and decency. And that everyone knows what you're not okay with. But boundaries aren't about controlling people. It's about controlling how much you let them affect you. And you're in control of where you are and what access they have to you. And that's the direction I'm trying to go. And luckily, I've had over 100 positive responses just on Google alone. And it would be nice if I lived in an environment where I didn't have to come out, because nobody would expect me to be something just because that's what the Bible says. But we don't live in that society. And my parents intentionally created an environment that made it hard to be who you are. And now they have to reap the consequences of doing that. And I'm not going to act like everything's okay. I'm not going to protect my parents anymore. If people ask me, how did your family treat you? Terribly, when I came out. Terribly. I'm not going to protect people anymore. I'm not going to speak nicely about my parents when they did some terrible things. And if you ghost and ignore your kid when they come out, you're not a good parent. You're not a good person. And I'll leave it at that. Now that I've faced my feelings, my expectations, my fantasies, my fear, and now I'm facing acceptance. And going forward, instead of doing a daily catch-up, we'll do a weekly catch-up. Every Saturday, I'll post a video on what it's been like. And then once we reach, it's been a month, then I'll do it monthly. And we'll just see how it goes from there. But moving forward, my family won't like me setting boundaries. But you know what? Fuck them. I just don't care. And they have nobody to blame but themselves. Take some accountability. Because I've taken accountability that I was the one who allowed this to go on. And yeah, religion and my environment didn't help. But I'm responsible for living a lie because I was afraid. My internalized fear is what kept me from living my life for half my life. And I have to live with that. So no, my parents are not 100% to blame. But they should have stepped in and made it very clear I didn't have to live a lie. And they didn't. So I think it's a 75-25 kind of thing. My parents were the adults. They should have created an environment where I could talk to them. They should have maintained an environment where I didn't feel like I had to fit in or be someone I'm not. My parents should not have punished me for being different and humiliating me when I had interests that conflicted with their beliefs. But 25% is my fault because even as a child, I could have said no. And most of that 25% is when I became 18 to 31. I was an adult. So it was 25% my fault when I was a child. I could have said no. Well, actually, you know what? I'm going to correct myself. I think it was about 10% of my fault when I was a child. I still could have said no. I could have been more honest and open. But the second I turned 18, it was 50% my fault. I allowed them to control me. I allowed them to maintain an environment unchecked that pushed me into a lie. No, they didn't force me to live a lie. They just made it so uncomfortable when I didn't. So it was 10% my fault for not speaking out as a child. And it is 50% my fault when I became an adult. Even though I didn't know what autonomy, consent, and good relationships look like, it's still not an excuse for allowing people to bully me 13 years after I became an adult. But that's life, and you have to accept that if I could go back, boy, would I change a lot of things. But you can't. You can't. Nobody forced me to overeat to deal with the anxiety. No one forced me to internalize my lack of autonomy into developing emotional disorders. That's my fault. And some of it isn't my fault because I was a very isolated, ignorant Christian person. And there's not much I can do about that. But I have to accept life as it is and move forward. And yeah, it is sad when your family makes no intention to support and be there for you. And yeah, it does hurt when your parents behave consistently in ways that make you frustrated and furious. And it's heartbreaking to realize your fantasies and denials enabled these people for so long and really kept you from living your life. And now I've faced fear And now I've accepted it. I won't let fear, anger, disappointment, and frustration control my life. I'm responsible every day. Don't let people run your mood. Even though I was indoctrinated to allow people to run my day, to control it, to use it against me, I won't let people run my day. And if being single and childless and not having pets is how I enjoy my life, then great. And if my family hates it and damns me to hell for it, you know what? Go to hell, even though I don't believe in it. And anybody who doesn't support you, doesn't unconditionally love you, you're better off without them. Or do as I do. Every time people treat me badly, I say, screw you, and definitely screw you. Just don't let people run your day. Because we only have a certain amount of days on this planet. And there's no afterlife. So enjoy life. And I choose to pursue life. I choose to pursue a life that makes me happy, builds self-esteem, prioritizes my wants, desires, and career plans. And if it doesn't look anything like a traditional Christian poster, that makes me even more happy. Live your life the way you want to. And tell everyone who doesn't understand, doesn't care, and makes your life misery to go fuck themselves.